Hello and welcome back. In this video I'm going to be talking about an incident that occurred while visiting Kyoto a few years ago. Now, I talked in prior videos about living in Osaka, Japan and visiting Kyoto from there quite a bit. This didn't occur during that time. In fact, this occurred, I believe, in 2019 when my Chinese girlfriend and I decided to visit Japan for, I believe it was about a little over a week, might have been about 9 days, and decided to go through some of the same places that I had visited, plus see some other things in the Kansai area. And I'll call this the She's Chinese incident in Kyoto. So one of the things that a lot of J-vloggers or Japan video loggers talk about is when you go to certain places, people, Japanese people, if they see you with a local, or they will, and let's say you're ordering, they'll generally speak to the person who's the local, even if you're the one asking the question, in Japanese. Now, since I had been living in Japan prior to this for a little over a year, and had a hard time making good friends with locals, and most of the friends that I did have were expats. Didn't run into that situation. Didn't even see it, really. However, I remember we decided to go to Kyoto one day, my Chinese girlfriend and I, and there was an area of Kyoto, and I forget the name of the station, I'll put up the name somewhere, where there's a bunch of sake distilleries. And I remember while living there, always wanted to go there. Tried once when a friend of mine visited to go to one of these sake breweries or distilleries to check it out, because they would have tours. Unfortunately, we never got a chance to do the tour. We got there a little too late, but we did try some sake. Anyhow, decided to go there with my girlfriend and said, hey, would you be interested in checking out these museums? She said, sure. I said, all right, and there's a bunch of little food places around the area we can eat, and we can just kind of make it the suburban Kyoto day or half day. Go out there, went to, I forget which of the distilleries, saw how the ancient way of making sake and whatnot. At the end of the tour they gave us some free samples, and at the time I wasn't drinking, so I just kind of, told my girlfriend, you can have my drinks. She had a few of them. She says, oh, they were really good. And by the time we finished, it was like a late lunchtime. And I said, okay, let's go to one of these covered shopping arcades, as they call them. See if we find a nice restaurant, something local, so we can have some Japanese food. He says, all right. So we spot this one place that had, it's very traditional looking on the inside. I think I have a couple pictures. I'll put them up. And they had several different, I think it was like 3 or 4 different restaurants within the same building or structure. So if you wanted sushi, you can go to one, and they specialize in sushi. If you wanted more barbecue, there was another one. If you wanted I think ramen, there was a third, and so on. So we went in, decided to get some sushi. Sit down, they give us the menus, we look at it, they're picture menus, although there's also kanji and whatnot in there. So after looking over what we're thinking about having, wave over the waiter. He comes by. Now, mind you, it's my Chinese girlfriend and myself. And he looks, and the first thing he does is he turns to her and he starts speaking in Japanese. And I'll never forget the look on her face. She was kind of surprised. She just stopped, looked at him and says, in English, I'm sorry, I don't speak Japanese. And then also never forget the look on his face when she said that. And then I turn to him and I say in Japanese, she's not Japanese, she's Chinese. We would like to order. And after the initial transferring of shocked looks, he took the order and they were off. But it was interesting to, I guess, experience something that a lot of J-vloggers and a lot of people who have lived in Japan have talked about, how it doesn't matter if you speak in Japanese. even if it's fluent, if you're there with a Japanese person, they're going to turn to that person first, out of habit. And I have to say, I agree that it is a little annoying when people do that, especially if you're talking to them. They should at least look you in the eye, and if they don't understand, that's fine. I totally get it. I don't fault them for that. But if somebody's talking to you in your native language, unless it's way off, it's really rude. And it doesn't matter what language, it doesn't matter what country you're in, it's just a universal. But at the time I found the whole thing funny because it's the whole idea of assumptions, because you have this face, it means you don't understand the language. Anyway, that was the She's Chinese Kyoto incident. See you guys in the next video.